Fight scene, we're gonna have a fight scene. We are in Act 5, Scene 4 of Henry IV, Part 1. We've got today and tomorrow, and then we're done with Henry IV, Part 1. We get to get into Henry IV, Part 2. But we've been building up to this war, and finally we get to this war. So at the end of 5-2, Hotspur and all of his team are like, let's go fight a war. And then in Scene 5-3, which we don't get to see because there's no monologues in it, but let me tell you what happens. In 5-3, Douglas and Blunt come in, and Douglas is like, who are you? And Blunt is like, I'm the king, and Douglas kills him. And then Hotspur comes in, and Douglas is like, I killed the king, and Hotspur's like, that's not the king, you dolt. So Douglas is like, crap, I gotta go kill all the other people that are now dressed like the king, and they both go off to fight more war. And then Falstaff comes wandering, and he's like, you know, crap, all those men that I like raised to be soldiers, like all but 3 of them are dead, and this is like really, really sucking. And Prince Hal comes in because he's been fighting all over the place, and he's like, Falstaff, why are you still standing up? Give me your sword. And Falstaff's like, no, but you can have my gun. Here, take it from my hip. And Hal takes it, and it turns out to actually be like a flask of booze, which he chucks at Falstaff, and he's like, stupid, and then runs away, and Falstaff is like, well, I guess it's up to me now to kill Hotspur. So then we get to Act 5, Scene 4, which starts out with Prince Hal, who is now wounded, which we didn't really get to see, but a lot of productions will show you how he gets wounded. He comes in with the King and Westmoreland and John of Lancaster, and they're all like, you're wounded, you should go seek medical attention. And he's like, what? It's just a flesh wound, I'm fine. And hey, Dad, you should get up to the front lest people think that you're not actually fighting this war. And the King... Oh, and sorry, and then Prince Hal goes off to actually fight more war. Meantime, Douglas enters, who, remember, is on a mission to kill everybody who's dressed like the king, and he's like, who are you? And the king is like, I'm the king, and he's like, yeah, right, everybody's dressed like the king, let's fight. So they start fighting, and it gets to the point where Douglas is about to kill the king, and then Prince Hal comes in and is able to save him. He rescues the king, and Douglas runs away. And the king is like, thanks for saving me. And Prince Hal is like, this dude, Ghazi, has called for help. And the king is like, all right, I'm gonna go help Ghazi and you fight some more war. At which point, Hotspur comes in, and now we get to have the battle royale where Hotspur and Hal get to have it out. So they exchange some words, and then they start fighting. And while they're fighting, Falstaff comes in, and he's like, yay, Prince Hal! And then Douglas comes back in and starts fighting with Falstaff, who he knocks down, and it looks like Falstaff is now dead. He's lying on the ground. At which point, Hal kills Hotspur. Just gonna let you sit with that for a second. Prince Hal kills Hotspur. And Hotspur, as he's dying, gets to have a monologue that's not long enough to qualify for this, but he gets to talk a little bit about how sad it is that he's dying, and he ends with saying that, you know, now he's turning into dust and he is food for... and then he dies. And Prince Hal picks up the sentence and says, for worms, brave Percy, farewell, great heart. Ill-weaved ambition, how much thou art shrunk. When that this body did contain a spirit, a kingdom for it was too small a bound. But now 2 paces of the vilest earth is room enough. This earth that bears the dead, bears not alive so stout a gentleman. If thou wert sensible of courtesy, I should not make so great a show of zeal, but let my favors hide thy mangled face, and even in thy behalf, I'll thank myself for doing these fair rites of tenderness. Adieu, and take thy praise with thee to heaven, thy ignominy sleep with thee in thy grave, but not remembered in thy epitaph. And then he notices Falstaff on the ground. What, old acquaintance? Could not all this flesh keep in a little life? Poor Jack, farewell. I could have better spared a better man. Oh, I should have a heavy miss of thee. If I were much in love with vanity, death had not struck so fat a deer today, though many dearer in this bloody fray. Embowelled will I see thee by and by, till then, in blood by noble Percy lie. And he goes off to fight more war. And tomorrow, for our last monologue, we get a little bit of a surprise, and then I'll tell you how the play ends. And then we get to move on to Henry IV, Part 2. It's almost like we're in the same play for another month-ish, but we're not. It's a new play. It's a totally different play. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow for more. Mwah.